Hi. Hi. My name is Isedahi Iriabonse Igodaro, and this is Truth Rising from Silence. Before I start, I would like to read something as usual. I express my truth's true colors, my presence, and sacred silence. My pain has purpose, my creativity is healing. I am whole, even unseen. I speak my shame. My body has been holding it in my chest and womb for too long. I'm no longer willing to break for others or shrinking to please anyone. I have worn shame like a second skin, not because it's mine, but because I was taught it is protection. So I stopped where I left for Abuja after the new year. And then I needed to start up something. So that was when I bettered affordable classics, buying things in bulk and selling. So I just did a little bit of surveying here and there. Just to know what and what it's more favorable to buy. And then I traveled to get some goods. So I traveled to Sheffield first to see the way the university was. I spoke to Trevor Uyemori and I told him I was coming. He made arrangements for one of his housemates at the time, Barry, to pick me up. So it was three of them staying together, Trevor, Barry, and Godfrey. I stayed with them. And then from there, I went to Manchester. From Manchester, I traveled back to Nigeria. Sold my goods, business was fine, everything was going on well. I had to travel back again to buy some more goods. This time, I called my friend Pearl, my chief bridesmaid for my wedding. I told her I would be staying with her. So she said she was in the US at the time. So that's no problem. When is she coming? I would stay in a hotel for the day she's not around. And she told me in a day or two. So I was like, that's fine. So I stayed in a hotel for one night. When she came, she picked me up. And she said her house was under renovation, but we're going to be staying at her friend's place, Constance. They were having a show that night as well in Bolton. So I told her I didn't feel comfortable in staying in someone's house because I didn't know Constance. And she said it was fine. So we got there. Constance was quite welcoming. And we went for the show. At that time, I was just a t-shirts or shirts and pant trousers person. So getting to the show, I was there for a short while and somebody came to me and told me some guy was calling me. So I was like, that's really rude. Some guy is calling me and he sent you, a grown man, to come and call me. I said, that's rude. I said, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You're a man. Another man sent you errands. He left. He came back again. So this time Pearl saw him and she was like, because she knew the guy, like, oh, it's Wilson and everything, that said I should call her. I wasn't interested. Pearl went to speak to him and came back and told me that guy is a big boss. She knows him. Is this, is that. She can vouch. I said, I'm not interested. Show finished, we went back to Constance's place. The next morning or afternoon, I slept. I was tired. I woke up to take a shower. Going past the living room, because the room is inside, so you have to pass the living room to the showers. And I saw a group of guys in the living room, and I was just in my towel. So I was so upset. And I said to Pearl, like, no, that's not nice. Is that not the guy from last night? What's he doing here? I'm not even decent. She was like, no. I said, no, it matters to me. So she was like, no, he came to see. I said, but I'm not aware. So I went back into the room. I didn't come out till they left. When they left, I went to take my shower. Some days later, Pearl was going to do some shopping and in some place, Moston. We went together. So she said that guy has been messaging and stressing and all that. So I was like, okay. She said, no, that the guy is just this kind of guy. He likes a good life. He doesn't like being alone. So he's always having parties in his house and stuff. So I was like, okay. That the guy said I should please, let's just pass through his house. He's having drinks with friends. So I said, okay, let's go. We got there. The house was full and everything. We didn't stay long. Me and him now exchanged numbers and we left. Pearl was talking about him. Oh no, that guy, he's a big boss. I said, I'm not interested in that, no. This Don's issue just ended. She said, no, that this one is different. I said, I've heard. So he invited me out and we went out. Him and Pearl, they were doing a business at the time together because she was always picking him up or they were going out doing some business. So along the line, we became serious. And then I traveled back to Nigeria. So while I was in Nigeria, we're communicating, most of the time and stuff. Almost all the time we're communicating. And I had to travel back again to get some more goods, which I did. This time I didn't stay long. But in between, me and him, we had some issues, trust issues here and there on his side. I'd come to Manchester to get stuff. And every day he kept sending, there was this boy that was staying with him at the time, Ovini. Ovini was his friend's younger brother. So he's his friend's younger brother is Ovini. Bro, say make I come collect £100. Bro, say make I come collect £50. Bro, say make I come collect this. In my head, I'm like, what's this? So I said to him, this money is for my business. He said, no, he will give me back. In between, he now told me it's better if I just, spend time in his place instead of staying at Pearl's place. Like, okay, no problem. So I took my things from Pearl's place. I think that triggered her. But she was still coming to pick him for business. So sometimes she comes in, sometimes she doesn't. Along the line, their business went south. And she started telling me that he's not a good person. He's a cheat, he's a this. I'm not the kind of person. Let me see with my two eyes. You're the one that says he's the perfect man. Now I'm seeing somebody. Let me see him. Let me judge. So she got very angry, and me and her, we just, because I couldn't understand why she was so bitter. So as time went on, when I was going back from that trip, me and him, we had some quarrel. It's just one little thing here and there, but it was just escalating. So I needed some more money, and he was not forthcoming with the money he was supposed to give me that he has been collecting. So I called a friend of mine, Paul. I've known Paul for a while, but we're just chatting, friends, nothing serious at the time. So Paul Efosa Benny. I called him. I needed some money. He said he wasn't in Manchester, but his friend, he would transfer some money and his friend would bring it for me. So that was how I met Efosa for the first time. Efosa came to give me some money. That was from Paul. So the day Efosa came, it was raining. So Efosa was like, enter the car now. So I was like, any need? Say, enter the car. So I entered the car. I have not even sat in that car up to 10 seconds. Wilson, my boyfriend then, was just reversing his car. Increased the headlights on our face. like like an officer of the law. It was fun. Now that I'm saying it, it's funny. So I collected the money, and Efosa counted the money, gave me, and I went inside. He said, so this is what you have been doing. This is what you have been doing when I'm not around. So I was like, what do you mean? Different guys coming to my house. You know how rude that is. I was like, eh? I said, my friend came to give me something. I didn't want to say money. Because the one where I bring come, you don't use mouth collect them. Now small remain. And I have some very, very important people that I needed to take some, at least even if it's 10 pieces, to go and give in Abuja. He said, what? I said, it's just some orders for clients. And he could not do it over the phone. So I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. He stopped talking to me that period. The day of my flight, he drove me and did not say a word, which was okay. But you see me, when it comes to this silent treatment, me and silent treatment, we don't agree. Silent treatment, nah. I don't do that kind of, that's abuse. So he dropped me. He didn't even say bye. He helped me check in my luggage. No bye, nothing. My money now is hanging because he has his quarrel to cover it. Packaging. So I got to Abuja. He didn't ask me how my flight was. So I just left it like that. My sister picked me up and she was telling me that, wow, I won't believe who she ran into. I was like, who? She was like, Ifeanyi. I was like, who is Ifeanyi? I said, Ifeanyi is from way back. So I, oh, okay. He said apparently he's schooling in Birmingham. He just came on holiday and he's around. So I was like, oh, okay. He said that him and his brother, they want to hang out that evening. I was like, I'm exhausted. So it was the next day we hung out. So I knew Ifeanyi when I was doing diploma in Uniben. At some point, we became close, but then time and people around did not permit, so we just left it. And he had some issues, so he left Uniben. So we just connected and everything was fine, at the time. And then my mom came to Abuja to see us. if I said he wanted to meet my mom. So I was like, are you not scared of my mom? You that used to be scared of my mom. Said, no, that his intention is genuine. He wants to meet my mom. I was like, mm-mm. So after much back and forth, he came to the house one evening and he met my mom. So they had a nice conversation and everything. And then a few weeks later, he told me he was traveling, but he's going to Poland. He was going to Spain first, Paris with his mom for business, then Poland. So I was like, okay, no problem. And he left. So when he left, I noticed that when I call him, he's not picking, but he was calling me when he could. So I was like, what's going on? So that's the way the conversation, I'll be like, what's going on? So I was with my mom, sorry. Like, huh? So you can't pick calls, a grown man. No, her business is kind of private. So I traveled to the UK, Manchester. But since I was no longer friends with Pearl, and me and Wilson were not talking since he didn't call me to ask me how my trip was, I stayed with my friend, Ameze. So Ameze is the one I told you went to Idia College together, but because I didn't pass the transfer exam to UDSS, she passed. And we stayed 2 streets from each other way back, childhood friends. So I stayed in Ameza's place, did my shopping and everything, and I traveled back to Abuja. Business was doing well. And then Ifeanyi was still calling me, but not the way he was calling me. My instinct told me something is not right. Something is fishy. So that year, Christmas, I was going to do my usual Christmas in Benin. I ran into his brother at the airport. His brother was going to Enugu. Ifeanyi's only brother, Uche. So she was like, oh, you look good. Where are you up to? Where are you off to? I was like, I'm going to Benin for Christmas. Let's enter Enugu now. I was like, to do what? Let's go and groove. Have you been to Enugu before? I said, Uche, I'm going home to see my mom. I said, and besides, you know that me and Ifeanyi, we have commitments. He said, which Ifeanyi? Ifeanyi, we don't marry since. I said, He said, oh, that's what they went for now. My mom was at the wedding live, you know. He married Agnieszka. She's Polish. He said, oh, they went straight to Poland. I said, so they didn't go to Paris or no, Poland straight. She lives in Poland, so they're living there now. She's heavily pregnant, gonna give birth anytime soon. Uche, straight up. My feet were stuck to the airport ground. Like, I was like, huh? So they announced my flight. I was like, Uche, are you sure? I got on the flight. By the time I got to Benin, I turned on my laptop and I saw messages from Ifeanyi. Hey, gorgeous, I miss you so much. I can't wait for us to see. You mean a lot to me. Hey, that's why I package message. Tell him, say, for in life. I say, married man, your mother that has come back since. Yeah, your mother is still doing business. Please. So after Christmas that year, 2010, New Year, I traveled back to Abuja. This time, my friend Ameze, that I stay with when I go for business, said she was coming in. No problem, I'm expecting you. She had not been to Abuja, in like forever. So it was, on my ground. I was very excited. So one day I went to the bank, Zenith Bank in area 11. 11? Yeah, 11. Yeah. So inside the bank, one lady came to meet me like, hi, can I have your number? So I was like, for what? Are you a banker? So I'm saying, no, I like you. I was like, mm-mm. So my face was already, because she was still insisting. I said, I'm not a lesbian. She said, I know. I can tell it from your body language. But I just want us to be friends. I said, mm-mm. I don't want to be friends. The friends that I have, I've not finished with all of them. I don't want to add more. As she was still talking, I just walked away. So outside the bank, somebody was saying, excuse me, excuse me. So I was like, who's this one again? So the guy was like, hi, I'm Greg. Like, okay. Now I saw you talk. I saw the lady, what the lady did inside the bank. I was like, huh? So, oh, you're so funny. So, okay. Mm. Can I have your number? I said, no. I said, women, we just fine anyhow. Be like morning sun, morning this. You know, he had a way with words. I just started laughing. So he was like, can I drop you? I said, no, that my cab is already on the way. Like, you called a cab? I said, no, my cab man went to get something for me. He's coming. So we exchanged numbers and he drove off. Greg used to call me morning, afternoon, night. And my sister now got to know that there's a Greg that I am talking to. So she was even talking to him. He used to call her barrister. Oh, barrister, can't wait to bring some cases towards, your door and everything. And I told Greg that my friend is coming in a few days' time. So he was like, no problem, that he will tell the driver to pick me up and take me to the airport so I don't have to use cab. So my friend be comfortable. Where's she going to stay? I said, my house. So like, okay, fine. That he would take us out. So I was like, okay. I actually told him my childhood friend. Like, oh, you guys must be close. I said, yeah, I just said, yeah. But I learned my lesson. Someone you have not seen in a long time is just your friend or somebody, an acquaintance. So Ameza came, went to pick me and driver went to pick her in the airport. When she came out, like, which cab? Should we call a cab? I said, no, my car is just there. So the driver was like, madam. Ameza was like, who is this one? And I said, oh, he's my, I don't know, someone I'm just trying to know. He's his driver. Somebody was like, wow, the car. So inside the car, she kept, he said, big fish. Yeah, I didn't even understand. Those of us big fish. Because me, in my eye, I used to see people that live abroad as the ones that are doing better than people living in Nigeria. It's a lie. It's a lie. See, most of those people living abroad, they can collect anything from your hand like this. Big lie. So, we now got to the house. Driver dropped us and left. That they will pick us later. So I now spoke to Greg that, oh, thank you. But my sister would bring us to the place since she drives. And I did arrangement. Ameze met Greg for the first time through me that night. We first went to Hilton to have cocktail before he came. So because people were sending cards to me, complimentary cards, hello, somebody said I should give you this card. Ameze now leaned forward and said to my sister that, this thing that they did for you, said they not do it for you. Why is it only her? And instead of us that is on this table, that different people have just been coming since looking at her. So my sister was like, what kind of thing is that? Please stop making. I said, no, I'm just saying that this same thing, they didn't do it for you, the thing they did for her. My sister said, don't say such things. They didn't do anything. When me and her go out, that's how it is. I didn't take what she said to heart. I just felt. Greg came. We now went to the club. We sat outside so that we can eat. The table was loaded. Greg just gave me his bag that I should hold. I can't remember leaving Ameze with Greg. My sister did not get up from that table. I don't know how she did it. Time to pay. Greg said, my baby is going to pay. My baby has money because his bag was with me. So I opened the bag. See money. When I paid, Ameze was doing. We left. My sister drove, so all of us went back home. So inside the car, Ameze was acting weird. By the time we now got to the house, she started packing a small bag. So I'm like, Ameze, it's very late. We're just coming from club. This is like 3, 4. She said, and so what? Am I a baby? And I said, where are you going to by this time? She said she has to go and drop some things for her cousin. I said, let it wait till morning now. She said, you want to control me? You want to control me? Do you think you can control me? And I said, control you? No. No. Why? You're a big girl. But you told your people that he said you're coming to see. I said, and Abuja is not safe like that. Leaving by this time, 3, 4, it's not safe. He said, what's your business? Bully. Bully. Big bully. My sister now heard us talking. My sister now came. What's going on? I said, see, Ameze is packing a bag that she's leaving. You and I know that there are no cabs in this FAB estate by this time. She said, and so what? I've arranged a cab. My cousin has arranged for me. So the way she was not shouting, my sister now says, Ameze, did anything happen? She said, no. She has a right to move. We now let Ameze go. She said she will see us later or the next day. She left. She didn't call. Till a few days later, she came to pick all her things. In between these few days, I will call Greg. Greg is not picking. Somebody that used to call me 3, 4 times a day was not picking at all. My sister was calling him because there's something they were supposed to do together. Their law worker. Greg, no answer. I drop message, call, no response. I was like, he's lost. I moved on with my life. Ameze now came, picked her things. Like, he said, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I said, you didn't even enjoy this holiday with me again. How my cousin's place is so, I mean, my cousin this, my cousin that. I didn't suspect anything at the time. And I said to her, don't forget that my clients, they need things. I bought my ticket. In 2 weeks, I'm landing Manchester, your house. I said, if you're not around, you are going to be at work. Please don't forget to leave the key at the off license. And not a problem. She even hugged me and she left. A few days before my trip, I called her. She picked. Ameze, how is everything? Fine. Don't forget, I'm coming in a few days' time. She now asked what date. I told her. The day of my trip, I landed Heathrow. From there, connecting to Manchester. Arrived, I was so tired. I arrived in the evening. It was almost getting dark. So I got to the house, I knocked. Somebody came to open. I don't know the girl before. I'm like, hi, Ameze is expecting me. I said, my luggage, let me just pull it in. She now said, no, Ameze didn't tell anybody he's coming. And I said, oh, that's weird. And I said, who are you? She said she's Graham's girlfriend. She was heavily pregnant. So now she now said that she can't let me in. I have to call Ameze. I started calling Ameze. Called. She didn't pick. Time was going. For almost 1 hour, I was calling her. She didn't pick. When she now finally picked, I sent text in between. She now picked and said, she's under house arrest. Police kept her in a safe house. Eddie wants to kill her. Eddie is after her life. And I said, you Eddie. I said, but you didn't tell me since. You know I'm landing today. He said, is it today? Is it today? And I said, I'm outside your house. I'll get back to you. She just called the line. What kind of thing is this? They don't dark. I called. She didn't answer. My suitcase, everything is outside. I went back to knock on the door. I asked the girl, did Ameze call you? She said no. She still cannot let me in. I was like, what kind of thing is this? I'm standing outside Queen's Road. Ameze did not pick. And I said, it's dark. I don't mind staying in a hotel. But if I stay in a hotel today, will I still stay in a hotel tomorrow? Let me still call her small. When I saw that she was not picking, and I said, let me just call Wilson. Though we have not, since he dropped me at the airport, I didn't hear from him. And I called him. So I was like, this is your UK number. I was like, yes, I just landed. He said, just landed, or you have come before, went back, you have come again. So what's up? And I said, I'm at Queen's Road. I said, I'm on Queen's Road. I said, I don't understand what's going on. I normally stay in Ameze's house, but I've been here for almost 2 hours plus. I called her, she picked, says under house arrest, one thing, she's not in the house. He said, say no more, I'll be there soon. Give me the address. I gave him the address. In no time, he was outside. He helped me put all my luggage in his car. He said he must be very tired. We drove to his house. I went to have a shower. By that time, he made me something to eat. So he said to me, he said, do you know that your friend? She didn't want you in her house. And I said, no, I said, it's not like that. He said, no, she doesn't want you in her house. I said, because do you know where you traveled from? All the way from Nigeria. And somebody is telling you she doesn't want you in her house. Even if she's having a problem, wherever she is, she has a mobile phone, she would have texted you, find alternative. But she wanted you stranded. The earlier you know now, the better. And I said, no. He said, has she called you now? I said, no. He said, okay, let's see if she will call. The next day he asked, has she called? I said, no. He said, there you have your answer. So I started getting stuff that I came to get. And then Wilson told me that there was something he needed to tell me. I was like, okay. He said there was an issue and I has a court case. So I was like, okay. He said he doesn't know how the court case is going to go. But he's telling me because he might be sent to prison. So I will not be stranded. I'm like, no problem. When is the court case? He told me. So apparently I was leaving 2 days before his court case. So I did everything I needed to do. I traveled back to Nigeria. 2 days later, I was not calling him to find out how the court case went. I called and called and called. He was not picking. And I called his friend that he said they were going to court together, Ade. Ade did not pick that whole day. Ade did not pick the next day. He didn't pick. Ade picked like the third or fourth day. As Ade picked, I was not like, I'm trying to reach Wilson. What's going on? Oh, things went sour. I was like, sour. How do you mean? Oh, he went to prison. He has been sent to prison for 8 months. In prison for 8 months, man. Just move on. Just move on. Move on. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. I'm not like, eh? I said, so even you're not going to see him? He said, nah. I was like, but he said what happened even has to do with you. I was like, anyway, let me take this call. And he didn't call me. I called him again. He didn't pick. And I just come back from my trip. I didn't have any money. I was like, what kind of friends do these people have? That man will be in prison, nobody. I said, I have to go back. Well, how will I know where he is? Because I asked her, where is he? How they say he doesn't know. I said, he didn't even find out. He said, no. My goods were hanging. People had not paid. I called the people that were owing me. Next month, 2 weeks. One said, collect the money in a few days, but I might be traveling. I just carried bulk of my gold. This one I'm telling you, gold. When I was in Okada, the kind of jewelries I used to wear, they used to call me Mama Gold. Carried more than half. Just went to Wuse Market, sold it. The Hausa man that was buying it thought, as in, even this one, with happiness. Sold. Called agent, bought tickets. Did my booking for hotel in Manchester. Traveled back to Manchester within 2 weeks. So as I got to Manchester, I already booked the hotel where I was staying at that time, Tip Street in town. I just booked a town hotel in town. My younger brother at that time was not doing his master's in Newcastle. So I was like, I'll stay in the hotel 4-5 nights. 5 nights max. But I will write letters to all the prisons. So the next day, I ended up not even staying up to 5 nights. The next day, I went, wrote, found out how they do all those things. I found out different prisons in the location, went to post office, wrote a letter to all of them. So I just put the number of my brother's house and that I'm looking for this person. I traveled to Newcastle. Like a week later, my brother's house phone is ringing. And he picked, and the person is like, Strange Ways Prison, should we connect? So my brother wanted to say wrong number. I said, no, 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 no. So he connected. And they were like, Wilson, John Hassan. So as I said hello, he said, Isse, you're in the UK. You came back for me. And I said, I spoke to Ade. Ade was not like, he was not talking like he was going to be there for you. And I know the kind of friends that you have is when there's enjoyment, they are there. When there's no enjoyment, everybody vanish. I said, so I was worried. He says, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. He started complaining that the thing now is that because he didn't know that he was going to get sentenced at all. Like, I thought they were just going to do suspended sentence. He doesn't have any money at all. And that he can't even eat all those pot noodles, and that prison food is horrible. I said, how much do you need? He said, if I can do like £50 poster order. So I was like, okay, I would sort that out. And I said, but I'll come and see you in some few days' time. He said, eh? I said, yes, I would come. Long and short story, I was going to the prison from Newcastle to Manchester every week. 8 hours. If I could do it 2 days a week, I would do it. So I was going on the train. I would leave early. My younger brother would say, what do they do so? Where they go every early morning? You come back when we are even sleeping. Because my brother gave me a spare key. I told my brother that my friend is in prison. He said, eh? How do you enter inside a prison? I said, I will show my passport. He said, eh? Your visa? With all your visa inside, did they show him? I said, yes. I said, but the only thing are the dogs. I said, the dogs, the sniffer dog. Hey. I said, and you know now. My brother said, I said, so I will be shaking like this. He will say, we have to check her again. Yeah, I go to shake. If you see dogs, different type of dogs for any kind of thing. Then they'll say, bend. They want to sniff your hair. I did that thing. My money, I was not running low on cash. And I started using bus. Because the train was less hours, but the bus was not 8 hours. 4 going, 4 plus coming back. So on the train, it was even better, though it's tiring. But the bus was hell. So the day Wilson came out, I waited for him. By this time now, my mom now came to visit my younger brother and my other brother that were both doing their masters. He was so happy. Oh, so as I was not telling him, I didn't know the time you're coming out, so that I'll book our cab. He said, no, Ade is coming to pick him up. I said, which Ade? The same one. He said, yeah, he'll soon be here. Ade now came. Ade now asked where he's taking us to. He now said, Ibis Hotel, the one in town. So when we got there, he paid. And we went in. So we just split it. He paid for some days like that. He started looking for a place and everything. And I told him that I would have to go back to meet my mom because she has been around. He said, okay, that's not a problem, that he wants to see my mom. And I said, eh? I said, yeah, he wants to see my mom. Tell her his intention. He doesn't want to waste time. I was like, eh? He now met my mom, told my mom's intention. My mom now said, I'm not a man. If you're ready, you know what to do. I did Nigeria. So when he left, my mom now says, that one, the way that he's just looking like a designer everywhere. Women will not allow this one rest though. Is this the one? After Donna. I say it's not bad. I say he has had a lot of challenges and the challenges have humbled him. Say, that one humbled. Say anyway, I did Nigeria. So my mom now left. I came to meet him in Manchester. Stayed with him for a while. I went back to Nigeria. Getting back to Nigeria, I discovered I was pregnant. I called him. He was excited. I now came back to see him. When I came back, he engaged me. I told my mom I was engaged. Like, okay, no problem. When are you coming? I said, we'll let her know. He now said he wants me to speak to his auntie because his mom died when he was 3 years old and he was brought up by his mom's sister. So I spoke to her. I greeted her. Not when I greeted her, she was very cold. So we finished talking. She didn't even talk much. She was just quiet. She now asked where he is. I now said he went to throw the bin out. She said she just wants to tell me that I should go and mark it, that this marriage is not going to last. It's not going to last on her watch. I thought I didn't hear well. When she finished, she hung up. When he came and I said, see what your auntie said. He said, no, she's not his mother. She has no rights. What's the meaning of that? No way, I talked to her. Since he says it's not his mother. And I said, but you have to talk to her. I said, somebody that brought you up is your mother. Talk to her. Why does she not like me anyway? He said, no, you're mistaken. I was like, okay, fine. When I went to Nigeria to meet my family, the plan was to do traditional wedding. Well, getting to Nigeria, they now said it's a custom and tradition. They don't used to pay money on pregnant woman's head. So it's only introduction, and then we go to the court to do registry. So we just did the introduction, we went to the registry, and we got married at Oredo. After getting married was when things started to unravel. After getting married, I went back to the UK. My usual buying. On getting back to the UK, as I entered the house, because this time now, my things, I just leave my things since I'm going and coming. One small suitcase is what I just carried. As I entered the house, you know, house that you have traveled away from for weeks. The sky, people that are familiar with, even the STV, the sky will be red. He was still in Nigeria. I came in. I'm the one that came. The sky was green. I was like, sky can never be green. Green, the green lights. No, somebody was in this house. Green. I said, but he's in Nigeria. And I said, okay, let me go and even shower. I've had a long trip. I just opened the closet. Not even one cloth of mine was inside there. I was like, I said, no, maybe he folded it and kept it somewhere. I checked the next drawer. My underwears, not even one. Bra, nothing. I went to the room where shoes are. Not even one shoe. All my things. I didn't see anything. But his own was neatly arranged. Boxers rearranged. Socks, shirts. And I said, what's going on? Trouser. And I called him. I said, Wilson, what's going on? Where are you? I said, he's still in Benin. I said, what's happening? My things. I can't even see one thing. Where did you take my things to? But our things are always together. Your things are still there. Where's my own? He said, please, I will get back to you. Please don't tell anybody. Don't tell any of your family members. I was like, I'll stop here for now.